Hello, my name is Andrew Bolin, and this is my story in Nseven. So I grew up in the church, a small country church, as probably a lot of you guys have as well. Into church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night youth. Pretty much when the doors were open, my family was there. And that's really kind of how my story begins. So in church, Bible school, doing all the things. And, I'm always involved doing kids ministry, youth ministry, even, leading vacation Bible school, songs and music. Woo. And it really wasn't until about high school, going into college, that I realized that I had some questions. I was wrestling with faith, wrestling with this idea of who Jesus is and was he a real person, and all of these big kind of theological questions that a lot of people wrestle with. And when I started college, I knew that I wanted to get into broadcasting, radio and television, and in media, and I had a couple of options of where I wanted to go to school. And I finally realized where it was that I was going to plant myself and start my undergrad degree. And I just had this feeling of just confidence that this was the right choice. And I got some scholarships. And it was in that moment where I really began to hone in on this idea of my purpose gives me freedom to do what it is that I want to do. That God's not requiring me to hone in on a specific purpose for him, that he blesses us with the freedom to be able to do whatever it is that we choose to do, recognizing that we have the ability to share our story with the people that we surround ourselves with, whether they're Christians or believers, or whether they have many questions about what faith is like and who Jesus is. And so after I graduated college, I got married and really had no idea where life was going to take me. My wife landed a great job, and radio not so much. So then, I began to seek out again, what is my purpose? What plans does God have for me? And I rolled into getting a graduate degree, and that led to the possibility of teaching. And I quickly realized that I really enjoy teaching, being around college students and having opportunity to teach media, the change in media, and just what technology is doing is just really cool. And so as I began teaching and exploring this career path, again, recognizing that God gives us freedom in the desires that he plants in us and in the talents that we have. And I found myself just really yearning for a career in higher education. And so I go and get my doctorate and start thinking about where life is going to lead us. And then a few years ago, I found myself here at Kentucky Wesleyan College, and it's been a blessing to be here and to be able to share my faith with students and faculty and share just how God works in our lives and provides opportunities to just share his story along with our story. And that's kind of the two main things that I've really acknowledged and really have worked on gaining a better understanding. If I could kind of sum up my journey in two words, it would be faith and providence. That God provides everything that we need. Sometimes it is just enough of what we need, whether that is finances, whether that is skills, whether that is knowledge, whatever that is, God will provide us with what he needs to get things accomplished. And the next is faith. And when we start recognizing God's providence and leaning in to his provision, this triggers this idea of faith, and we keep coming back to God for that provision and keep coming back to God for peace and understanding in what it is that he has called us to do. I'm often reminded of the many promises that God gives us in Scripture. In fact, Scripture itself is one giant promise of Jesus Christ and his redeeming grace. But in particular, I find myself coming back to the Old Testament and the Israelites, and when they are moving out of Egypt and kind of wandering in the wilderness, when they cross through the river, they build this monument in 12 stones. And this is just scripture says that this is a reminder to the Israelites and to the people that when they see this monument, they recognize who God is, his provision, and it just provides them a moment of rest and peace. And so I just find myself looking back to those specific monuments in my life where God has provided, and it just brings me peace and comfort in knowing and trusting in him.
That's great.
Awesome.
Awesome.
6:59, 7.
Yep, you were at 6:15.
Oh, man, I was hoping for right on 7. It was good. Thank you very much.